So yesterday, I dropped a video on the family up in Ohio, which, by the way, they never say where in Ohio. I think that's very interesting. Every article I've read, every blog I've gone to just says Ohio. Like, are they like where? Columbus? Where? Dalton, Ohio? I think there's, if I'm not mistaken, there's an Atlanta, Ohio. I mean, but for real, like where? Anyway, they're not really telling me. Anyway, yeah, there's an Atlanta, Ohio. Yeah, there's an Atlanta, Ohio. Shout out to Atlanta, Ohio. Anyway, I wanted to talk about that family that's in Ohio, and the husband was accosted by a neighbor, and the neighbor accused him of chasing her and all that kind of foolishness, and all the backlash that she's received because of it. So we've heard about that. I called it she chose the bear, right? She saw the man as a threat because he's a man. Now, of course, there is a ethnic melanated argument that can be made as well. I'm not really living there because I think there's reason to believe that if it was a black woman, she wouldn't have said that. So I don't think it's ethnic. I think it's the black isn't the problem, it's the gender that's the problem. And we're going to actually see it because the family did an interview with Shannon Sharp. Shout out to Shannon. Okay. And they asked some good questions. Of course, they went for the low hanging fruit race, and it's really telling though. I mean, I think you'll see pretty clearly why I don't think that the man's ethnicity was the problem that late at night, and you'll see it in a moment. But rather that is his gender. But the woman also did another video. I'm sorry, I don't know who's encouraging, who's managing, who's directing her, but somebody needs to tell her to stay off of social media because something about you'll hear it in the interview. I'm gonna let the wife tell the story in the interview with Shannon Sharp, but you're kind of thinking that the woman went up to the door, knocked on the door, brought some baked cookies, and apologized. That didn't actually happen. So I'm gonna bring this video in. Shout out to everybody. This is a members only because you all have supported the channel so fervently, so passionately. I just want to take the time this morning to go over this video with y'all. So if you have a comment, jump in there, of course. But let's go see what's happening.
We're going to welcome DeMichael Jenkins. He's a seasoned real estate developer, investor, custom home designer, as well as chief operator officer and owner of 3D Vision. And unfortunately, Ocho, he was involved in a disgusting racial profiling act outside of his own home. Mm-hmm. And so welcome, Mikey. Congratulations to your Buckeyes. Well done. I know you I'm surprised you ain't got on your Buckeye shirt. But congratulations to your Buckeyes to you. And I think that's your wife?
Yeah.
Congratulations, ma'am. Thank you for joining us. Mike, if you can.
All right. So just real quick, you can see he is definitely light skinned. So that's why I say I don't believe that it was initially in the dark of night a racial issue. That's why I don't think it was initially race. But I mean, hey, I'm not mad if anybody goes there because I think the woman deserves all the heat that she's got. Let's go.
Go back. I know it was November, and here we are in late January. Okay. If you can recount the events as you remember as vividly as you possibly can.
Yeah, I can remember. It wasn't too long ago. I was leaving one of my real estate job sites in the inner city, wrapping it up for the day. It was about 5:15. Took me about 45 minutes to get home. So
that's not late at all.
I'm proud to go home. Shannon, something I want you to know is when they say it's a affluent neighborhood, it's one of the most wealthiest neighborhoods in Ohio.
Wow, congrats.
And my house is the best house in the neighborhood.
That's what I'm talking about.
Because
come on now.
I designed it from scratch. I'm an architectural designer. I bought the land, I financed the land, designed it from scratch, and I built it from the ground up using all my resources. So proud to come home. I'm pulling up, checking out my Christmas lights we just put up for the holiday season. And there happens to be a lady in the driveway with 2 kids. So I don't think nothing of it. Kids coming in and out my house all the time. I got kids, got a family over here. I don't think nothing of it. I think she's looking for the front door. I say, hey, are you looking for somebody? She doesn't answer. She then proceeds to go to the porch. So I'm like, okay, so she's probably coming over. So I pull in the driveway. I'm about to park, and she rings the doorbell and comes to the front of the front porch and stops me and says, "Do you live here?" And I said, "Yeah, I live here." She said, "Well, I don't think so." So I said, "Well, what are you doing here?" She says, "I don't think you live here." Picks the kid up, drops the stroller, hops off the porch, starts running, and I hear screaming, yelling for help. At that point, now I'm in fear. I'm in fear because I know what we face as Black men in America. So I rush to the garage, park in the garage, come in the house. My wife's in the office. I said, babe, some white Caucasian lady, she just jumped off our front porch, screaming, yelling for help. I don't know if she's gonna call the police. I'm pacing back and forth. I don't know what's about to happen. 6 p.m., regular day. We pacing back and forth. I don't, at this point, I'm like, I don't know what's about to happen. She comes back.
So put yourself in that position. You saw this woman in your yard, the whole shebang, grab the kids running, yelling help to the top of her lungs, and you don't know what happened. Do you chase her? Do you sit in your house and panic? Do you get your kids and your family and run? What do you do? That's what I'm saying. She did the most. She created this problem, so I don't have any level of empathy for her. I feel bad that when we watch what happens, but I'm sorry, you did this, ma'am. You did this. Let's go.
Before the police gets here. I don't want to go outside. I don't want to go outside with them outside. And the police pulls up and I don't know what's going to pop off. If the police pull up, altercation happen, anything could happen. Right. I know they're going to side with them. So my wife's come outside and she just wants to figure out what's going on because she's in shock. And I'll let her say how she ended up coming outside or whatnot.
Okay, when he
came home and he said, there's
I was going to ask you. He comes into the house. He says, babe, there's a white lady standing on our porch. She's running, yelling, screaming. I don't know what this is about. And so what's going through your mind when he explains what he just encountered?
I was in my office working and I'm confused. I'm not understanding what's going on. Like, what do you mean there's a white woman running, screaming for help? Screaming for help for what? He's like, I don't know. And immediately my heart dropped. I'm like, walking and pacing back and forth. Like, okay, just wait. Okay, well, what happened? Nothing. I was just pulling in the house. And I'm like, what is she screaming for? He's like, I don't know. And I'm like, are you, what? And I keep opening up the door because I feel like the police is going to come here.
Put yourself in that position. What do you do? And again, I'm not trying to make this a hyper racial situation, but put yourself in his family's position. They just minding their own business, and somebody of less melanin is in their front yard wilding out, tweaking out in the front yard. And you're like, well, what do? I don't even know what the problem is. So just be mindful of that. Again, and this is why in my previous video, I said, I have no sympathy for that woman. I don't, because she should not have been doing what she did. And look at what she's doing to this family. Let's go.
Somebody is about to come here and I don't know what's going to happen. I don't even know what fully happened. I didn't hear anything. I'm in the house working.
So
and so I kept opening up the door and that's when I came out.
So she did end up calling the police.
She did end up calling the police.
Call the police.
Okay. So let me ask you a question. Now, this happened in November. The video just recently got released. What caused you guys to release? Because I'm glad this is on ring camera. Because you're absolutely right. Had this not been captured on camera, on video, we already know the story that was going to be told and how it was going to be spun. But you guys had it on camera. What made you guys finally decide to release it?
Well, I actually released the video in our community Facebook group. We have a community Facebook group, about 500 or so people, and it ever since I've been like, we've been shattered, we've been upset, it's so many different factors and so many different feelings. So many different feelings. I put the video in our community Facebook group to share what happened. And it took a lot for me to do that.
Again, like just put yourself, and I feel sorry for this family. And the more I'm hearing this, I actually feel more sorry for them than I did when I first saw it. Shout out to Nightcap for putting them out here and giving them an opportunity to hear their voice and hear what their story was. But again, that woman was doing the most. She was teamed the most. And at any moment, I mean, they seem like nice people. I'd be happy to have them as my neighbors. I don't see any reason. They look like they have a beautiful family, look like a good, happy, healthy couple. I want them in my community. I want them in my church. I want them in my school board and such of that nature. But that woman put these people in jeopardy. Okay, I got to go.
And then we woke up and the videos everywhere.
You know what's funny? It's one thing to experience racial profiling in public. You know, in public, I'm sure we all have stories where it happens in that setting. But for it to happen in your own home, I mean, it can be unsettling. It can be uncomfortable, especially when it comes to a place that you call a place of peace that we can all get away from, from the outside world. Has that affected your sense of security and trust in the neighbors? And have you reconciled in any way with the neighbor who caused these issues?
Of course, there's a lack of trust. Of course, it makes us feel unwelcome and unsafe. We have two boys, and he leads our family. He protects our family. So to know that we can't go walk the dog, or someone looking at us is what's going to happen. It's a lot of weight. It's a lot of pain, and it's a lot of emotion.
I can still.
And he's desensitized to this.
I still hear it in your voice.
So of course. Not once have we got I thought the next day maybe there would be some flowers at the door saying not once has this person reached out to us to give us a sincere apology.
Wait, whoa.
That here we go, because Chad about to stop him too. I told you, the woman has never actually come over and apologized. All of her apologies have been on social media. Everything that she's done is on social media. The videos, and I found one of the Instagram live videos. Well, I'm sorry. It was one of the second apology videos, not that initial Instagram live. She made those private. But I just want to finish this up. Let's go. Did I rewind it? I think I did.
Outside of his own home. And
I did.
We just put up for the holiday season in my house.
I did rewind it, man. Y'all
for help. Boy. I don't know if she's gonna call the police.
Oh man, I'm struggle busing here.
It's racial profiling in public. In public, I'm sure we all have stories where it happens in that setting. But for it to happen in your own home, I mean, it can be unsettling. It could be uncomfortable, especially when it comes to a place that you call a place of peace that we can all get away from, from the outside world. Has that affected your sense of security and trust in the neighbors? And have you reconciled in any way with the neighbor who caused these issues?
That's a great question, Chad. Shout out to Chad.
Of course, there's a lack of trust. Of course, it makes us feel unwelcome and unsafe. We have two boys, and he leads our family. He protects our family. So to know that we can't go walk the dog, or someone looking at us is what's going to happen. It's a lot of weight. It's a lot of pain, and it's a lot of emotion.
I can still.
And he's desensitized to this.
I still hear it in your voice.
So of course, not once have we got. I thought the next day maybe there would be some flowers at the door saying not once has this person reached out to us to give us a sincere apology.
Wait, whoa.
HOA.
I reached out to HOA immediately after it happened.
Nobody said anything?
Immediately after it happened, I reached out. HOA ghosted me.
Wow.
For lack of better words.
Can I ask you this? Prior to that night, prior to that incident, had you ever seen this woman prior to this incident?
I've been in the neighborhood for 3 years. I built the house from the ground up. I know the developers in the neighborhood. I lived in the front of the neighborhood while I built the house. I walked to the job site every day. So have I seen her eye for eye? No. I've walked by their house and seen them on the front porch.
So she see
when they came, I didn't recognize.
Go ahead, ma'am. Go ahead.
I didn't recognize them, but I was going to say it's a 90% or more of the neighborhood is predominantly Caucasian. So we're one of.
Okay, I'm gonna jump in real quick again. I don't think the issue, to me, the low-hanging fruit is the racial issue. The bigger problem is that this is a man, because I guarantee you, she would not have had a problem if the wife had been driving the truck. She wouldn't have said a thing. She wouldn't have said a thing. It's because he is a man. That's the problem. Our rhetoric and this anti-gender, anti-man foolishness that we've been spouting for so long, this is the natural outcropping of that. This is the byproduct. This is the fruit of that insanity. Now, it just so happened that it was a black and white, so a lot of people are jumping to that. But please understand, I promise you, if it was a black woman and a white man, I don't think she would have said anything. It'd have been nothing. But maybe, I don't know. Who knows? I don't know. When you hear how the woman behaved in other instances, because they're going to talk about that in a moment, maybe she would have. Maybe she was because she was queen do too much. She was queen the most. Okay, but shout out to this family though, for real. Let's go.
One, black families in the neighborhood.
And our house sits all the way in the back of the neighborhood, and the people ride by and take pictures every day. And there's a lot of publicity with our house, so it really was it was shocking. But they stay to themselves in the neighborhood.
Let me ask you this: when you walk up and you ask, "What can I help you with?" and she says, "Is this your house?" you say, "Yeah," and she says, "I don't believe you." When someone tells you they're standing on your porch and they tell that's not their property, and they tell you that this is not your property, what went through your mind when someone is standing on your porch and they say, "Well, you don't live here"?
Well, that's when I was battle tested as a black man, as a man that been to prison, that's had to transition and learn how to put pride and ego to the side and control your emotions.
Okay.
That's when that kicked in. That was the ultimate battle test. Because in my mind, I said the audacity of her.
You didn't say the audacity.
That was in my mind, but I had to control my emotions in the moment because I knew where it could have escalated at. I'm thinking, well, what if she had a gun?
Correct.
Right.
Would she have been running or would I have been running?
Is this a situation because now she said, well, you have to see it from my point of view. No, I don't need to see anything from your point of view when you stand on my porch. But for her to say, well, you didn't say, well, I really live here. I live here. I don't have to identify myself. This is mine. Why do I have to tell you who I am when you standing on my property?
That's the point. And now this is where I think a lot of people really jump to the racial aspect of it. And again, I totally agree. I have no shame. If you say that she was a racist, I ain't mad at you. She should have been doing it. I think it's something else, but hey, I ain't mad at you either way. The idea and the notion that she can command and demand somebody give them their status. What was she going to ask for? His driver's license next? This is great. Like, can I see your mortgage statement, your deed? This is insanity, y'all. And I don't think, again, if this had been a white man pulling up in the driveway, I think she probably would have had the same effect. I ain't gonna even lie.
It took everything out of me, not to get out of character. And especially when they came back, she brought her husband back. He was real standoffish. I was scared to go outside, but I sat on it. I was listening. I said, I can't let my wife sit out here with these people. What if the police pull up? So, I went outside and I just had to make my face known. And I had to let them know I do live here. A black man does live here. I did build this house from the ground up. I did design this house. I had to show my face. And As soon as I came outside, you could tell they switched it all the way up. Let's get out of here. Let's go. They switched it all the way up.
When the police arrived, what did the police say? Okay, what was the side of the story that they told the police? And then what was the interaction once the...
Hold on, I got to jump in, Shannon. Man, I hope this doesn't stop Shannon Sharp from ever calling me to come on the show. For the people that think that I might be doing the most or I might be not understanding, did you hear that this young man said that he's been to prison? So that means it is very possible. Just think for a second. What if he's on probation and this woman does all of this stupid stuff and the police come and hook him up? That's an immediate violation of his probation. He could go away. Thankfully he's not. And thankfully none of that did happen. But why would it have happened? Because this ignorant woman was doing the most. That's why in a moment when we listen to her crying and tearing and all that kind of stuff like that, there will be no tissues will be passed out because you did not have to do this. She didn't have to do it. She chose to do it, and the consequences are thereof. That's why I said she chose the bear. Don't be mad at us because the bear eating you up. It's not our fault you chose the bear. You could have left that man all alone. Do you realize that hundreds, thousands of white women walk their kids and dogs around communities every single day, and none of this happens? You chose, and so they're men. So somebody came in my comment section, and I might get a little bit spicy about this. They're talking about men are dangerous and all that kind of foolishness. I'm a man, and I have a wife. I have 2 daughters, and that was the dumbest thing I ever heard in my life, for somebody to say that men are dangerous by nature. That's why they choose the bear. I'm like, that was stupid. I might actually put the comment in here just so y'all can roast them. That was so dumb. I'm like, that's insane. But this is the rhetoric. This is the feminist rhetoric that men are the problem. But for thousands of women walk their dogs and their kids. I know at least 4 of them that walk around my community all the time. At no time have I ever felt like they're like, "Ooh, there's Jason," and I'm black, and he's a white woman. Never. I mean, never. She put that man in whole danger. Okay, let's go.
Authorities arrived.
I hid in the house. I didn't talk to the police. I'm not about to come out there with them. Those police might gun me down.
So you let your wife...
I would have let my wife out there.
So you let your wife handle
I let her handle that.
I wouldn't have let my wife even. No, none of us would have went outside. Get your stroller. I'd have pieced out through the window, like Malcolm. I'm not even. Now the police came knock on the door. I'll talk to the police, but no, sir, no, ma'am, no, ma'am. And I might even just pass them a USB drive. Here's the ring cam. Here's my email. Like, no. That lady put that man in danger like that. Okay, I'm sorry.
Okay, what?
Yeah.
I made a report. I made a police report.
Rightly so.
It was emotional to make a police report because we all know what happens when you call the police. So I had to think to myself, do I go outside? It's dark. Do I let them come inside? Do I sit up? Do I stand down? Do I let my son be stand here? How do I explain this to him? And even explaining and sharing that this lady racially profiled us. She ran from her house screaming. There's no telling what people can think. My son came home from work, who's 17, and said, "Mom, what if I was taking out the trash? What if she had a gun? What's going on? Why are the police here?"
That's crazy. Hey,
but I knew I had to make this report.
Man, I would have went down to the station.
Of the situation you've been through, have you guys, or are you guys moving forward with reclaiming your sense of safety, being that it is home, and in any way, despite them not, giving sincere apologies or letting you know that we welcome you here in our home, especially HOA and the neighborhood sales? Do you still have hope and motivation to keep sharing your story from this point on for others that might encounter these situations and ways they can prevent things from happening and being able to de-escalate those situations?
100%. I have nothing against their family, But I grew up dealing with this all the time. So we still have to live here. They live 2 streets over. We have to ride by each other's house. I'm okay with being cordial with riding by each other's house.
So without knowing that, again, when I said that woman was doing the most, I mean, she was doing the most. How in the world, in a minute, he's going to describe how far away they live from one another. And just ask yourself in your community, if you live this far away from somebody, because he said 2 streets, but it's not just 2 streets, it's the end of one street 2 blocks over, and then the end of that other street. So they're pretty far away. What is the audacity for you to go literally, it seemed like almost a mile, let's just say a quarter mile, half a mile, whatever, from your house and tell somebody you don't believe that they live in that house? That is crazy, nasty work.
I have no issue with them. The issue is getting the word out here and letting my situation and what I've been through and what I've overcome be inspiring to people in the world, people that look like me. So that's the space I'm in. And I'm thankful for God, because I didn't ask for her to show up on my porch. This is God's movement here. This is God telling me the people need to hear your story. You need to inspire. You need to tell people what's going on and use this so that hopefully this won't happen to the next person, or the next person that comes across a Karen situation, they will know how to control their emotions. Because us as Black men, especially young Black men, we struggle with that. We struggle with that impulse, with that acting. We think irrationally, and we never think rationally. So I'm here to inspire people. I'm a real estate developer. I build houses from the ground up, single family houses. But I thought that moving into the most wealthiest neighborhood in Ohio, that this was the right thing to do. But maybe my focus needs to be building communities that's for us and by us, so that we can inspire people that look like us. We can build a community that's for us.
Can I ask you a question? You said something very interesting. You said she lives 2 streets up from you. So you mean to tell me she went 2 streets out of her way to try to find out who lived in this home? Not on your street, not on your block, not on your street, not on your block, not next to you. 2 streets.
It's 2 streets up, but she's all the way north. We're all the way south. It's multi-million-dollar houses back here. The lots are big, so it's 2 streets, but it's still, we could go 30 days, 60, 90 days without seeing each other.
Yeah.
So she went out of her way. Let me ask you this. She issued an apology. She also said that she reached out to you.
Okay, here it comes. Listen to this, and if we need to, we'll go pull up the video where she talks about how she reached out to the family.
And tried to apologize multiple times, but she hasn't had a response from you. Did she try to apologize to you in person, or was it through this video that you guys have seen?
She has not tried to apologize to us in person, via phone, via
nasty
knock at the door, via a phone call, via email. No, only the live videos.
Now, apparently, if we were to believe what the report says, that this woman has a history going back as far as 2018 of creating these situations and then making herself out to be a victim. Have you guys seen that? Have y'all seen any of those reports that's being circulated?
I have not seen that.
I have not seen.
Can I ask you this? I want to ask you this. Have you thought about, since your privacy, your security, have you thought about potentially even leaving that neighborhood and going elsewhere? Or you saying, nah, y'all not going to run us up out of our home?
100%. I've been in Ohio my whole life, and I faced racial discrimination at its highest peak. I'm a stereotype person, tattoos, dreadlocks, a man that's in the professional world, in the real estate development world, that you don't see too many minorities building multi-million-dollar homes. It doesn't happen here. So we 100% have thought about moving to another state, taking my talents elsewhere, building a community to going places where we could be surrounded by more people that look like us.
Man. So let me ask you a question. What was your relationship with the neighborhood? Did you have any interaction with your neighbors, like to the left of you, in the front of you, to the back of you? What's the neighborhood like? I know you mentioned it's a very affluent neighborhood. There are wealthy people that live there. You mentioned $1 million homes. What's the relationship with you in the community other than with this said individual?
So it's the wealthiest neighborhood, and they got a saying that once you reach a certain tax bracket, race doesn't matter.
That's a lie.
So it's a lie, but people say that. People say that. So everybody out here, majority of people out here, they walk every day. They take pictures of our house. They say hi. You can ask people in the neighborhood. Those people are not friendly. They don't say hi. They don't take too many walks. They don't walk their dog. They stay in their house. They are standoffish.
Wow.
Okay, I got to jump in. I'm sorry. As a believer, as a Christian, I see this as a great opportunity to confront a narrative, because let's also keep in mind, most people now, we're not in the 50s where people are out walking back and forth all day long, and little Susie's going to cross to borrow a cup of sugar, and Martha's bringing over a pie. That's not what we are. A lot of us we use the word standoffish, but let's just be honest. A lot of us are caught up in our own worlds, and the report or the study said that all of this happened once we got garage door openers. Because once the garage door opener was introduced, people could open up the garage, pull in, close the garage, and never see their neighbors. Though I understand, and again, I'm not taking anything from this man, go next door and introduce yourself and talk to your neighbors. Just go talk to them. You don't have to talk to them in defense and say, hey, I'm not a bad black man, right? Just go over there and say, hi, this is our family. This is who we are. Nice to meet you. Who are y'all? Great. Nice to meet you. And go do the next. I introduced myself to all my neighbors on my street when we first moved here. Now, some of them have moved away, but I know pretty much all my neighbors around me. Not because I need y'all to watch my house. I ain't got no multi-million-dollar crib, but I got a house that, I like to take care of. And when we leave, I like to call Barbara and say, hey, we're going to be gone. Can you keep an eye on the place? My mom is going to come and check the mail and stuff like that. Or my niece is going to come check the mail now. But the idea and the notion that people are standoffish, and you're kind of equating it to the fact that they're standoffish because of your ethnicity, sure, that is very much possible. But do you make room for the fact that it could be that people are just caught up in themselves, and for somebody to climb out of the selfish tower and say, hey, I'm going to know who this Jenkins family is, or the Jenkins family came to find out who I am. Wow, that was pretty impressive. Maybe I too could come out of my selfish silo and go across the street and introduce myself to my neighbors. Just a thought. Let's go.
Oh, the neighborhood is friendly,
but
I don't know about them.
She said something very interesting.
We participate in.
Go ahead, ma'am.
I was just going to say we participate in community events, and for the most part, the neighborhood is friendly. She posted videos after this happened, and the neighbors brought it to us because they put 2 and 2 together. So that's how we even found out that they knew about it.
She mentioned to you, as you was walking up, you have to see her point of view. She's walking her kids. It's late at night. If you're that afraid, why are you out at night walking your kids if you're as afraid as you say you are? Did that cross your mind? Like, well, if you say you're afraid, why are you out here in the dark by yourself? You're married, your husband's not with you, and you got a small child. So it can't be that dangerous. You can't be that fearful of your life if you choose at night to walk a child.
I agree 1,000%.
It's 6 o'clock in the evening.
Yeah, it wasn't even that dark.
It gets dark early, but yeah, we thought about that.
Of course. I wouldn't be outside walking with no.
Yeah.
No. Not at all. Especially if you have been through things or whatever. Like, I'm not walking at night, period.
Oh, that's crazy.
It's as simple as that. And as soon as someone tell me that's their house, all bets are off. Okay, if you're scared, then you walk home. That's it.
I don't know. I guess I just look at things differently. I've really never walked by somebody's house. Oh, you live here? Oh, definitely I'm not standing on somebody's porch and asking this, is this their home? If they drive up, I'm in the neighborhood, I see somebody in their driveway or somebody on the porch, I throw my hand up, I keep it moving. I'm not going to stand on someone's porch and ask them if they live here. That's none of my concern. That's just me. Maybe I don't think I'm unique in that, guys.
I'm with you, Shannon. There is no way in the world I'm going to somebody's house and say, well, I might say, hey, oh, you live here. Nice to meet you. Keep on strolling. Not, you live here. I don't believe you. That's nasty work, y'all. That's nasty work. Let's finish.
We ain't nosy.
That's privilege.
We ain't nosy like that, though. we ain't nosy like that, man. We see somebody, man, we chunk up the deuce, we say hello, and we keep it moving. The first thing we say, we see a nice house. Boy, that thing that nice, ain't it?
It is.
Right.
And we keep it moving. Who it belongs to, it ain't our business.
You mentioned that you have a 17-year-old son, and as Black, we have to have that conversation with our Black young men. Is that it's always yes sir, no sir. It's yes ma'am, no ma'am. When you get pulled over, look, hey, just be as polite as you possibly can, because your job is to get that man or that woman to your car, back to their car, and on their way as quick as you possibly can.
Facts.
It's not about, all this and all that. We'll fight it in court. Whatever it is, if they said I was speeding, if I was improper lane change, I don't have a tail light, or what, erratic driving, let's go to court. We can argue it in front of a judge, in front of 12 people. I can't argue. I got to have you make it home. Have you had to have that talk with him? Have you had it already, or did you have to have that talk with him immediately after this incident?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And it was emotional, and it was multiple talks. It was multiple talks, and even was days where it's like, you know what, I don't know if you should go outside and walk our dog.
Right.
Let me see. Make sure you go out before it gets dark. It's a lot of weight. It's a lot of weight.
You've received a lot of overwhelming support from social media, though. I mean, everybody's been on your side. The social media has come to your defense, and like the way you handle it. And you mentioned your situation, having made some decisions in your previous when you were younger, and you learned, and you said, "Look, I got to channel this. I'm not going to give them the ability that says I'm angry, and I have every right to be angry because I'm in the right here." But nobody cares about that, because all they're going to look as you as a Black man, look at your history and bring that into the equation when it had nothing to do with this woman standing on your porch.
Not a bit.
Exactly.
If you could, people going to watch this. This is going to get picked up.
I got it.
If you could say, what would you want people to know about you, your family, and how you handle this situation?
I'm a Black man in America that's overcame every obstacle that could be thrown at you. Growing up, making bad decisions, being around the wrong people, and being given a second chance to transition. Raising a family, being married. My 17-year-old, I've been there since he was 6 months. This is my son, but he's not my biological. I've raised him as he's my son. I have an 8-year-old as well. I'm here to inspire people, to show people that control your emotions. Control your emotions. That's one of the most powerful things that a man can do, because a dangerous man is a man that can't control his emotions. So a situation like this that's broadcasted across the world, you can see that I was given every single reason to act, and I still control my emotions. So I want to use this moment, these platforms, to inspire people, lead people, and to show them what a real man is and what a real man is supposed to do. You take care of your family, protect your family, control your emotions. And that's what we're here to do. And also build communities. I want to build houses from the ground up. I want to build communities. I want to design high-end luxury homes. These are things that I want to do, that I got a passion for, that it's in my bloodline. Custom home builds. My grandpa was a custom home designer and builder. These are things that I want to take to the next level and be known for, and show people that in the real estate industry that we can strive, we can survive, and we can do what they do, and even better. So that's what I'm here for.
Do you have a sense or when or if you'll ever get your normalcy back? Because your life has been interrupted. You didn't ask for this, but as you mentioned before, God don't put on any more of this than what we can handle. He chose you. He chose you for a reason. And the way you handled yourself in that situation, I'm not so sure a lot of us, because she went out of her way. She had no business on your porch to begin with. If she didn't think you lived there, she could ask that question from the street. You don't bring your tail on someone else's front porch and then ask them. That's not your place. I can see if you were at her house and you're asking for directions. You're like, "Are you lost? Do you need help?" She's on your property. Did you think about pressing charges for trespassing?
We did, so. And they threw it under the rug. They filed a police report that wasn't nothing that we told them. We asked for the police report. They never gave it to us. We had to track them down to get the police report and looked at it. It was vague. We thought about pressing charges. We did all that. I thought she gave me every right. She's on my property.
Correct.
That's self-defense. I could have gunned them down. But I had to hold my composure as a man for my family. Because even though it was self-defense, it could have been self-defense, not for a black man, not for us.
Dang.
Wow. DeMichael, thank you for sharing your story with us. We really appreciate it. You handled that thing very well. To your wife, what's your name, ma'am?
Brittany.
You and DeMichael handled it very, very well. I'm not so sure very many people would have handled it with the class and with the poise that you did. You did everything right. And even though you did everything right, it seems like everything has gone wrong. She was wrong for coming onto your property. Thanks. The authorities seem to be wrong for how they've handled this situation. Hopefully you get the clarity, you get the judgment, the respect that you deserve in this situation, because you did everything right. And seemingly as of right now, things have gone wrong. Hopefully, the Nightcap family, everybody that's in this chat, we're praying for you, that you get your sense of peace, you get your sense of normalcy, and you get everything that you deserve back tenfold. Because just talking to you, you're a good man. Brittany, you're a good woman. Y'all a great family.
Yes.
And you're doing the right thing. So I tip my hat to you for the way you handled this situation, and continue to be blessed. God's going to continue to bless you because you're a good man and you do great things for the community. And I want to thank you, Ocho and I, Nightcap family, want to thank you for sharing your story with us. We greatly, greatly appreciate it. This is going to go out, and you're going to get an outpouring of support.
Yes, sir.
And it still wouldn't be enough for what you guys went through. But I thank you for sharing your story here with us on Nightcap. Continue to be blessed, continue success, and we'll talk to you soon down the road.
That was nice of you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, guys.
All right. So that was the interview with the Jenkins family. And I thought it was encouraging. I thought it was good. Again, I am not saying that it was primarily a racial issue, but this is this family's life, and I'm not going to take away from them. What I am going to do is I'm going to bring on the woman that precipitated all this foolishness. And I'm just going to let y'all hear what she has to say. I think it's very interesting how the story is told. And notice, I should have put a timer, how quickly she jumps into victimhood. Again, like, ma'am, you chose the bear. It's not our fault that you chose the bear. I'm sorry.
Hey, you guys, I made a video a couple of days sharing what was happening, and I wanted to come on again and reiterate my apology to DeMichael and Brittany Jenkins, but also share with you guys the threats that my family is now receiving. So first and foremost, DeMichael and Brittany Jenkins, from the bottom of my heart and my family's heart, I am so sorry for the way that I made you guys feel that night. I understand why you felt that way. I get it. I truly do. It was the worst timing and the biggest misunderstanding. And from the bottom of my heart, I would never want to make anybody feel unwelcome. If you know me, I include everybody. And so from the bottom of my heart, I seek forgiveness, and I am very sorry. We now that the video is aired and people are thinking that it was some malicious racial profiling or incident, our family is receiving hundreds, if not thousands, of threats. Every single one of our businesses is seeing devastation. One of our businesses has temporarily had to close because of threats. Our family is receiving threats through every avenue that you could possibly reach us, through phone calls, through text messages, through direct messages, and some of those threats saying that our people hope that our children die a slow death, that my husband is going to come home to no wife and to being a single dad, that I should be hung publicly, that I should kill myself, and if I don't kill myself, it'll be done for me. People are saying they know where we live and who we are, and there are ones about our children that no parent should have to read. They are absolutely disgusting. And I wanted to come on and just share that social media can be a beautiful thing, but the amount of devastation and wickedness that it has brought our family in the last 72 hours is absolutely unreal. And so I wanted to come on and
shut the door, please.
Apologize to you, Brittany, and to Michael, and to tell you again that there was never any ill intent towards you guys. I am very sorry, genuinely. I do not believe any individual deserves this type of hate, especially with something that truly was a misunderstanding. And from the bottom of my heart, I'm sorry. I am a believer. I believe love covers a multitude of things.
Multitude of sins.
And yeah, that is where we are with everything right now. So.
Okay. I don't think that she should be getting threats, though. I think that is a lap too far, and you know, that kind of stuff like that. If people don't want to support her business or whatnot, I think that's one thing. But like the physical threats and threatening her kids and stuff, that is, yeah, y'all doing the most now. That doesn't make you righteous. Just letting you know that doesn't make you righteous. What I am going to say, however, is, and just as somebody mentioned here, take responsibility, ma'am. You did this, and that's the thing. Like, you can't brush it away. You don't get to just say, "Oh, wiggle my nose or wiggle my fingers and it goes away." No, you created a problem for a family that never should have happened. And given the fact that she still has not gone to talk to this family, is nasty work, ma'am. Put your hat in your hand. Get your hat. Got a little hat here. Put your hat in your hand and go apologize to them. Go over there and apologize. You don't got to kiss their feet. You don't got to demoralize yourself, but you do need to show a level of humility and say, "Ma'am, sir, I am wrong. I apologize. I offended you." And how about this one? How about this one? You then go around the community and let them know that you were the one that's responsible for it. How about that? Instead of doing this stupid Facebook, YouTube, Instagram messages, Michelle, how about you put your hat in your hand? Because you have no problem walking almost a mile from your doggone house. How about you walk over to those people's house and ask them for forgiveness? "I apologize. I was wrong. Please forgive me." And don't put it on social media. Don't put it out there and do it away from the ring camera. Apologize to them. And then you walk your happy self next door and say, "Y'all, I violated your neighbor next door and I apologize because that was the wrong thing to do." And then you walk across the street and down the block and around the corner, and you do that all the way back to your happy house and then sit your butt at home. Maybe that'll help you. Because I'm sorry, I don't think that any way possible for you to reconcile this situation apart from real, true repentance and real, true responsibility taking. Doing this thing online for everybody, why are you doing that? I didn't realize that she had not actually gone and knocked on the door. I thought she had like at least attempted that, and the people said, "We ain't studying you, go jump in the lake, and then she tried to do it on Instagram. No, she was doing everything on Instagram. Ma'am, that's crazy. That's crazy work, man. What are you doing? Go talk to the people that you offended. Go talk to them. Voice to voice, face to face, right in their face and say, I am sorry. I was wrong. I did the wrong thing. How about that? Because clearly doing it online is not because you're putting it out there, not everybody's scrutinizing you. It makes no sense. Why put it out there for me to scrutinize? Because you ain't offend me. My name is Jason. I'm in Atlanta. I don't care in that respect. Why don't you go to the actual people's house that you offended and talk to them? Don't bring them any cookies. Don't cook them anything. Don't bake them anything. Just walk over there and say, y'all, I want to talk to y'all. I was wrong. And then go tell the neighbors, I was wrong. I offended my neighbor and I apologize. And if I offended you, I apologize. I know I offended them, the Jenkins, I offended them. But if I offended you by running through the neighborhood acting crazy, causing you to look at the Jenkins sideways and up and down differently, then I apologize to you because I was wrong. Eat some crow, Michelle. Because all this little pitter patter about your businesses being decimated and being attacked, you know why? Because you keep putting everything online. That's why. Stop it. Like you still doing the most, even in the midst of doing the most. You're doing the most. I don't know how that's possible. It's like throwing gas on the fire while you're in the fire. What are we doing here? Anyway, I just thought it was really wild. Yeah, Boston man, she needs to admit that it wouldn't have happened without the first act. And the first act was done by, drum roll please, Michelle. It was you. You did it. This pain that this family's going through about their son not wanting to go walk the dog and this, that, and the other. Ma'am, you did that. The people looking at the man sideways, you did that. And I don't think anybody, as far as I can tell, again, I don't live in their area. It don't sound like he was having any problems with anybody. He said the neighborhood was friendly. You did it. Ms. Davis, we are following back up. I'm doing a follow-up video on the video I did yesterday about the woman choosing the bear. And that was a family in Ohio where the white woman challenged the man about he really didn't live in the neighborhood and so on. I mean, he really didn't live in his house. And she was standing on his doorstep. It was just craziness, right? Well, I found that the family did an interview with Shannon Sharp. Shout out to Shannon Sharp. And I wanted to go over that interview. So that's what we're doing today. But I just think that this is such an interesting story. There's so many angles and so many ways that we can take this, but let's just boil it down to the very, very brass tacks. The very, very brass tacks. Mind your business. Like literally, if this woman had just minded her own business. And again, I got white neighbors. I live in a mixed neighborhood. I think there's about 200 houses in my neighborhood. And I've driven through because one of my daughter's friends lives on the other side in the other part of the community. And we live on the bigger side. We live in the bigger houses, but on the other side of the community. And I've gone over there and I've seen things that I've not seen in some time. I'm like, I haven't been over here in a long time. I don't come over here often. I would be a whole stir-fried fool to go knocking on somebody's door talking about, hey, I don't like the way you painted this house. Hey, you know those posies that you planted out front? Can you do something different? They're red. I really like green. Can you get some green posies? That's insane. That's nasty work, man. And I know for a fact, I am not going to anybody's house saying, I don't believe you live here. Look, shut up. Like, mind your own business. This lesson is brought to you in part by minding your own business. Like, ma'am, just mind your own business. None of this would have, that's the thing. Like, none of this would have happened if that woman just walked down the street. She said, oh, there's a scary truck. There's a scary man in that truck. Let me turn my little happy hind parts around and walk the other way. That's all she had to do. If she did that, we would not be having this conversation. There's probably hundreds, if not thousands of women that walk their kids and their dogs every day and say, that neighborhood might not be the best for me. Let me turn around. And we never hear about it. You know why? Because they don't go down there. It's not a mat. And by the way, shout out to the person that's in the comment section that told me that it's because men are the problem. Go jump in a lake. Go away. Okay? Men are not the problem. It's this feminist rhetoric that y'all been taking a steady, copious amounts of for the last 4, 5, 6 years. That's the problem. That you think that all men are the problem. That's insane. That's just dumb. That's just ignorant. Y'all go look at the other video. I think I pinned the comment to the top because it was so ridiculous. A woman trying to explain to me that men are the problem. I'm like, wait, that's me then. This is insane. He was minding his own business, driving to his own house, but he is the problem? Ma'am, you're the problem. And so again, I don't think threatening the people's family, that's a lap too far. That doesn't make you righteous. I'm sorry. That does not make you a good person because you're threatening somebody's kids. Sorry. That makes you lesser. Sorry. Just gonna tell you the truth. If that's what y'all are doing, then you're not any better. You're no better. On the same note, however, recognizing that, hey, you're gonna eat this crow. This crow is going to be here for you, Michelle. You're gonna be munching down on it. You're gonna make some crow burgers, crow stir fry, crow barbecue. You got to eat it. You got to. Yeah, leave the threatening alone. If you don't want to support her business, don't support her business. How about this one? How about y'all go and support this man's business? How can y'all support this brother's business? Instead of not supporting her business and trashing her on Yelp and Facebook and stuff, how about y'all find a way to bless and support this man's business? He got a vision to create more houses in different areas around town. How can you support him? I mean, like buying a house is kind of a big deal. So I understand that. But how can y'all support him? Can you make much of him? Can you interview him? Can you talk about what he's doing? Can you push his organization if he does a nonprofit or something like that nature? Stop worrying about her. Truth be told, I mean, she's a non-issue. I think she chose the bear. And at the current moment, the bear is doing what the bear does, munching down, mauling her even. She doesn't. I don't think she understands the gravity of her actions, but not by threatening her and saying things about, I agree with you. I don't think she understands fully, but I also don't think that there's a lot of knots in here. She does not understand, and threatening is not a right way to go about response. So I agree with you 1,000%. Ms. Davis 04, appreciate you. Thank you so much. Y'all, thank you so much. I appreciate you. I gotta go ready to go pick up my little people from school. They got an activity today. So I want to say thank you all so much for your support. But I just want to say thank you all so much to each and every one of y'all. You mean a lot to this community, a lot to the best live chat on the internet, and a lot to me. So I say thank you so much. Everybody, until next time, grace and peace.
Hit that like for deal with Christian. Yo, for deal with Christian. Smash that bell for DWC. Yo, smash it. Just smash it. Hit that like for deal with Christian. For deal with Christian. Smash that bell for DWC. Yo, smash it. Just smash it. Hit that like for deal with Christian.